Hi, this is Joyce Van Setters. Welcome to the Pink Book series, stories about mental health and art. If there's something that resonates with you, I hope you join. Welcome to the Pink Book podcast. I am your host, Joyce Van Setters, where I bring you stories of innovators who are doing things. Today, I have a guest that I've been trying to get on the podcast for a while, probably even stalking him a little bit, but he finally gave in to me. One of the biggest producers in New Jersey. If you know, they say a party ain't a party till it's ran on through. I say a party ain't a party till it's NJ Soup.
Oh, wow. Dope.
Welcome to the podcast, NJ Soup.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I appreciate you being here, seriously.
Thank you.
It's it's been back and forth a little bit.
Yes, it's all good. It's all good.
All right, good.
I looked forward to it. As soon as we made the connection,
yeah.
And I went on your page, I was like, oh. I'm like, she moving out here. Like, yeah.
I don't play. I'm very
moving.
Persistent.
Yeah.
And I hardly take no for an answer.
No, I'm definitely, once I went in and went through your page and everything, and I was like, oh my gosh,
you did your investigation?
Some amazing guests. I'm like, I was humbled for you to even ask me after going through your discography. I was humbled that you even asked me to even come on. I was like, I was so humbled.
That's amazing to me because you're up here. So
thank you.
Let's get started. So I want to know, where are you from, NJ Soup?
Originally, East Orange, New Jersey.
East Orange.
I'm repping. I got my joint on.
Oh, we got the ILLTowns.
Yes.
Okay, love it. And you grew up there for how long?
I'm 50. I'll be 53 December.
We're the same age.
Oh wow. I was born in Orange, New Jersey.
Okay.
My mother and father. My mother, they originally from down south, both of them, and moved to Newark in the 60s.
Okay.
60s, yeah. They moved to Newark in like the 60s, and we lived in Newark first.
Okay.
So I was like maybe like 4 or 5 years old. Hooterville sections, Alexander up there on Alexander Street. I went to Alexander Street School.
Okay.
It was like kindergarten, and then my mother moved. My grandparents was living in East Orange. My father's moms, and they was living in East Orange. Then we moved to East Orange from there. So I've been in East Orange from like 4 years old to 40.
Oh wow! Are you still in East Orange now?
No, I live in North Plainfield now.
North Plainfield now. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. And you have siblings?
Yes, I have two brothers.
Okay.
Both older than me. I'm the baby.
You're the baby.
Yeah, I'm the baby. At 50.
I know you're still calling yourself the baby, right?
Yeah.
It's too funny because you still have that baby in you.
Yeah.
You know. Talk to me about young NJ Soup because I want to know how you got to where you are now. But I like to start from
the beginning.
Like how did this? What's the mindset? Like talk to me about baby NJ Soup, young NJ Soup. What kind of kid were you around the block?
Young NJ Soup was shy. My mama's boy. My oldest brothers used to hate it. They used to try to toughen me up, but I was who I was.
Right.
That was my personality. I was a straight A student. Played baseball coming up.
Did you?
From 7 years old.
Okay.
I started playing baseball. I sung in the Newark Boys Chorus.
Did you?
Yeah. Actually, I went to Japan, but I was good in baseball, and I wanted to play baseball. I didn't want to do Newark Boys Chorus. I wanted to play baseball, but my moms used to drop me off every morning to choir practice. I used to, as soon as she drive off, I'd go out the door and run straight to the park to go play baseball. And I played the instrument. I played the trumpet.
Did you?
Yes. In middle school, I played the trumpet, and I was just a average kid growing up in the urban community. But I had a softness through my mom's. I was a mom's boy, but that was it.
And did you continue baseball through high school?
No.
What happened in high school?
I didn't. From as you know, a lot of our stories is we start off good. I came from a good background. My mom's worked for Lockheed Electronics. My grandfather worked for Ford. My grandmother was a stay-at-home mom.
Okay.
She babysitted mostly all the kids in our neighborhood.
Okay.
Babysit them. And me just sitting on my porch and then in my environment, going back and forth to the park, you start seeing things, and I'm seeing the local guys in the neighborhoods with the big cars, the fur coats, all the females.
Yeah.
And I became attracted to that.
Eyes got big.
Yeah, my eyes got big, and I came attracted to it. And as you know, my father, he was a part of my life, but he went to Vietnam.
Okay.
And
what branch?
I can't tell you what
okay.
branch, but he developed, like a lot of Vietnam vets, developed a drug addiction while he was over there.
Yep.
And when he came home, and back then, in the 70s, your parents really didn't tell you. They didn't share information with you like we are sharing now with our kids.
Right.
They didn't share information. Everything was a secret back then.
Right.
So my father ended up coming back and started selling military guns
Okay.
in the streets.
Okay.
And ended up getting arrested and ended up going to prison for like
Okay.
8 years. But we didn't know.
How old were you?
Maybe 7, 8
Okay.
years old, 9 years old.
Mhm.
But we never knew. I didn't know he was in prison until maybe 5 years ago.
Right.
And he used to call on the weekends at the house, and he'll say he coming to get us. So as a kid, when you waiting for your dad,
Yep.
and he never came.
Never shows up.
But
yeah.
we never knew. We just thought he didn't love us.
Right.
And he wasn't there, but he was in prison. And during that time, your parents didn't share that information with you. And as you know, when you get older, your mother's voice doesn't scare you
Right.
as it what did when you was
When you were
kids. So
little,
when you
yeah.
start going through high school and did things in middle school, and you start experiencing the things in the neighborhood, your mother's voice gets less scary.
Right.
And you start indulging in things you don't supposed to be doing. And I got caught up in that
Okay.
at a young age, at 13 years old.
At 13. Okay.
Yeah, 13.
So when you were in high school, did that change, or it was even worse?
No, it was worse than high school.
Okay. Don't hold back now. Be honest.
Yeah, no, it was worse in high school. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was worse in high school. Not far as of aggressive, just far as I always, as a kid, worked. As a kid, I always had a lemonade stand.
Entrepreneur.
I always bag groceries at Western Beef. I worked for the arcade.
Okay.
I worked at the corner store, the cash register at the corner store. I was always great in math.
Right.
I always worked at the corner store. I always shoveled snow.
Right.
So I don't know. That was just in me. It wasn't nothing nobody taught me. I guess DNA through one of my
Just did
parents.
it. Yeah.
It was just in me. Right. I always wanted my own money, and I always wanted to do for my grandmother. My grandmother was the love of my life. That was my father's mother. She treated me so well when I was a kid. So when I was coming up, I just wanted to do something for grandma. She used to eat snuff, and I knew her favorite snuff. So when I used to get paid,
Wow, I haven't heard that in years.
Yes, peach was peach something. That was her snuff.
Wow.
And when I used to make my little money from the arcade, I used to run home, go to the corner store, get my grandmother some snuff, be like, Grandma, I bought you something, and it was snuff because it was just something in me that I just wanted to take care of my grandmother.
Right.
And so that entrepreneurial skills translated into when I stepped off the porch and started indulging into the drug game.
Okay.
That entrepreneurial spirit was always in me.
Okay.
And it just took off from there. And I was 13 when I started. I had just graduated eighth grade. We was going to high school. And one of my friends, he was from South Jersey. He was from Violent. Somewhere. That's close here, right?
Yep.
He was from Violent. And he was like, yo, he had moved up to East Orange. So he was like, let's go down my way before we go back to school over the summer. And he was like, we're going, get some stuff. We're going to go down there. So I went and got some stuff, went down there with him. And we was doing our thing. And I was like, yo, we got to get back up here because our first day of school.
Right.
And we ended up getting arrested in New Brunswick for the state troopers and in barracks. And my mom's had to come get me. We juveniles. Man, when I'm talking about, my mother was a sweetheart, but my mother was very aggressive.
Yeah.
And she put the hands of God on me. So when she see me, she signed me out. I probably still had a 5 fingers.
You were like, I want to go back in.
Like, yeah. And that was like the start of the downfall of getting caught up in into that street life and everything. And
so did you finish high school?
No, I actually got back my GED.
You did?
I had dropped. I went to 9th grade, and I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I started 9th grade, and all my life going through school was easy to me. I used to get straight A's. It was easy to me. But when I went to 8th grade, I had, you do your little thing with your guidance counselor. They was like, oh, you're gonna take college prep classes when you go to 9th grade.
Right.
And when I got to 9th grade and started taking college prep classes, it wasn't easy for me no more.
Okay.
And I was like, yo, everything always was
What
easy. I
happened?
never had to study. It was easy. Now I had to study. and I didn't like that, and it was hard because I didn't study, and I never was a person that studied because math, everything came easy. So now I had to study, and I didn't like it. So, a couple of females, men, we always get females who, y'all smarter than us. A couple of females that I was in middle school with, they started helping me. Like, look, we're going to study this and the other. Okay. So one day, I stayed home from school because I used to like the stories. Okay. I used to watch.
Which one? ABC?
ABC Channel 7.
All My Children.
All My Children. General Hospital. Ryan's Hope.
Loving.
Like, that's where what's Gina that was on Martin? What's her real name? Tashina Arnold?
Yeah,
she started on, what was the one she started on?
I didn't know she started.
Yeah, she started on, I think it was Ryan's Hope. She started on Ryan's Hope. Yeah, she started on Ryan's Hope. That's why I remember Gina from. I think it was Ryan's Hope. She started, was one on Channel 7 she started on.
I just remember watching the soaps and then having to go back to, we watch all summer, having to go back to school. And then I realized that we would cry. And then once you got summer again, the same shit be happening. You ain't miss a beat. Like, it's the same, Erica married to the same man. It was the same stuff was happening. I was like,
Channel 7
I was so addicted to it because of my mom.
I was addicted. So I used to stay home sometime and cut and watch the soaps because it had me locked in. Wow. So one day when I started my journey,
I knew that the actor, not to interrupt you, remember the actor Ryan Phillippe? The actor now? He got his start on the soap. He played the first homosexual.
On the soaps?
Oh, wow. I'm pretty sure it was All My Children.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. I never knew that.
Yep.
Wow, that's deep.
Yeah.
I never knew that. Wow. So when I had stayed home one day, and I can remember like it was yesterday, I had made $3,000. I was 15 years old. I had made $3,000 during school hours. Yeah. I never went back.
That was it.
I never went back. I was just outside every day during school hours. I was supposed to be in school, so I stayed back that year.
Okay. That was the freshman year?
Freshman year, I stayed back. So my guidance counselor came to my mother's house and was like, she didn't know I was...
Your mom didn't know you weren't going to school?
No, she didn't know because my mother worked every day. And she didn't know I was cutting from school.
Okay.
And my guidance counselor came to my house, and that's when it hit the fan. And she was telling them that, I stayed back. I wasn't coming to school, showed him how many days I missed, all this. So he got me back in school. Okay. So now I got to do 9th grade over again. But I had that feeling seeing all my friends who I played football with and baseball with that was in the 8th grade behind me. Now I'm in the class with them. It didn't feel good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I dropped out again.
Okay.
So when I dropped out of that again, my mom felt like... You
were 16 that time?
I was... Actually, I'm sorry. I was 14 when I was a freshman. And then when I dropped out, went back, I was 15.
Yeah, because your birthday's the end of the year.
End of the year. So now when I go back, when I drop out again, my mom said she felt like she was losing me. So she was like, I wanted to get a job, so she helped me get a job. Okay. She doctored my birth certificate up. Yeah, she doctored my birth certificate.
To make you look older?
Yeah, to make me look older. I started working at Seton Hall University. Yeah. And I got a baby face in the kitchen.
Really?
Yes, doing pots in the kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah, Seton Hall University. So
that's where I graduated from.
Yeah? Wow. Yes. Yeah, I worked in there.
I went to School of Nursing.
At that time, it was called Gourmet Kitchen. That's who was running it. I was working there in 87, 88. I was working there.
Wow.
When they went to the...
Yeah, I was in school still.
When they went to the championship and lost, I was working at Seton Hall. I used to see all of them play basketball. They used to come out and get us because we know they used to see us working, and they used to always speak to us.
And no one knew you were like a 10th
my
grader or 9th
boss used
grade?
to always look at me, and he used to be like, you ain't 16. Because I got a baby face. Even at 52, a lot of people don't know how I have a face.
You still have a baby face.
So I was imagining back then how young I looked. So my boss always say, you can't be 16 years old. Wow. Right? And I'm like, no, I'm 16.
You saw the birth certificate?
Yeah, I'm 16. He was like, nah, you can't be 16. Oh, and I started working there. Matter of fact, I'm sorry. She doctored and said I was 18 because I was working there full time.
Wow.
Yeah, I was working full time.
Oh, yeah, because you would have to work part time. You were 16.
I was working full time. I was making like $400 a week. I can remember. Yeah, because I was working a lot of overtime.
Wow.
And so.
Well, in her mind, if you're not going to school, then you're doing this.
Yeah, you're going to do something because she knew she couldn't. she couldn't. My brothers and them was already in the streets.
Okay.
So I was the baby. So she felt like she was losing me. And I could. Me being a parent now. Now I understand.
You understand.
Do I ever? Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Do I ever? It's a parent's job is no manual. It's one of the hardest jobs that you ever gonna do in your life. Like, you know what I'm saying? Parenting. Like it's I could just imagine at my age when I see my kids, what I put my mother through, I don't even know if I can handle that.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? As being
woman.
a parent now, I don't know if I can handle all of that and what I put my moms through and what my brothers put my mother through. Right. It make me feel bad now because it wasn't necessary.
Yeah.
Because I was a kid that didn't have to do none of that. I lived a good life.
Right.
We wasn't rich,
right?
But I wanted for nothing,
right?
We always had lights, we always had food. I always had good clothes to school,
right?
Everything. I didn't have to do what I did, you know what I'm saying? But the law of the streets is sometimes it grabs you,
sucks you in,
they suck you in, and next you know you full time out there, you know.
So what happened with the Seton Hall job?
So I used to catch the 90 Grove in East Orange to South Orange Avenue, then catch the 31 up to Seton Hall.
Okay.
So now when I come home, it's nighttime. All my friends is hustling too.
Right.
I get off the bus on Grove Street and they clowning me every day.
Right.
Cause they moving, they outside hustling, they think they cool.
Yeah.
They looking at me. I'm working every day. I'm getting off. They like, man, what you doing? They harassing me every day. Nah, come on, man. What you doing? Every day. So I fell victim to the peer pressure again, and quit my job and started hustling again out there with them.
Wow.
From the peer pressure. It wasn't me. It was me being a follower. The peer pressure that I'm saying, hey man, what you doing? Come on. And I quit my job and I started hustling again. And I didn't know what I was doing really. I wasn't and when that happened, I really wasn't making no money. I was making like $300-$400 every other day.
Okay.
Right. I wasn't making no real money. I'm out here playing. And my mother friends used to take that way to work sometimes. And they'd be like, that boy out there hanging on the corners, telling my mother. And I'd be like, nah, man, I was going to the store. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to the store.
Yeah.
And then one day, one of my friends, he used to be up there with us, but I didn't know where they lived at, that they was hustling in front of their house too. And one day he came to me. He was like, yo, you got something? I'm like, yeah. He'd be like, what you got? I'm like, I'm like $1,000 worth of stuff. He's like, all right, I'm going to buy it from you. Come down here where I'm at. I'm going to buy all everything from you. I'm like, what you mean come down where? He was like, at my house. He was like, I'm like, y'all hustling down there? He was like, yeah. So he go down there and he's selling like an hour. So I was like, it might have took me 3-4 days to do what he did in an hour. So I'm like, you done that in an hour? He was like, yeah. He was like, wow, you want to come down here? I'm like, yeah, right? I was like, I ain't got nothing less. So at that point, I used to buy stuff from people locally. I never went to New York.
Okay.
So I never had a spot. So he was like, all right, we about to go to New York right now. We 15 years old, 16 years old. He was like, yeah, we about to go to New York, Uptown, Washington Heights, 157th, and Broadway. So we go, and that was my introduction really into the game where I blew up.
Right.
Because soon as he introduced me to 157, and the guys, they made the feds and magazines and the news too. They was called the Jerry Curl Boys.
Oh.
Dominicans on 157th and Broadway. They was called the Jerry Curl Boys, and they made big article in the feds and everything. But when we was 15, 16, that was our connect.
That's crazy.
And you know what's crazy than that? Like when Ronald Reagan and his wife used to get on the news and say that like kid is selling drugs and it's a war on drugs and too many kids. I used to be like, man, ain't no kids out here using drugs and all that. Never realizing.
You didn't think you were a child?
Never realizing that they was right. Like we was 15, 16 years old, going in New York, Washington Heights, copping drugs at 15, 16 years old. Wow. And you didn't realize it. When you knee deep in it, you don't realize until you step away from it. Okay. And be like, wow, like I didn't really realize that.
Right.
So from there, I blew up. I went down there with them. I went and got something, and I went from having $1,000, and in a month $50,000.
Wow.
In 1 month,
At
literally.
15.
At 15 years old, 1 month, literally $50,000 from $1,000.
Wow.
And like I told you, like I always, from a younger work Western beef, rag grocery, shovel. So that the work ethic was in me already. So I never left. I never left. And this was when the process of when I said I stayed home from school and I made the money and I was like, oh no, it's over. I'm never going back.
Right.
And it was just on from there. And then I ended up meeting my son's mother through them. That was their cousin, and I ended up meeting my son's mother. Two of my kids is from their cousin.
Okay.
My two oldest kids, 34 or 35. I'm getting old. Sometimes you forget. 34. I end up meeting them, and from there it was just on. It was just on from there.
And how did you progress out of that?
Well,
like what changed?
I didn't change until I was 40.
Okay.
I was going back and forth.
Were you doing other things in addition to that? Like, okay.
A lot of times when I was doing what I was doing, I was trying to get out of the game.
Okay.
Right? And I had stores.
I was going to say, because making that much, you could...
Yeah, I had stores. I was trying to do the music.
Okay.
I had a group. This is how I got into marketing and promotion.
That's what I want to know. Okay.
Yeah, this what led me into marketing and promotion. So I had a group. It was a bunch of young guys in the neighborhood. They knew I had money, so they rapped. They was called the Still Click.
Okay.
And they was called Still Handlers. We started calling ourselves the Still Click, the crew. So they was like, they rapped. They was like, put the money up for me. But I didn't know anything about the music. I've been around Naughty and them, but not in the intricate.
Just because of growing up.
Yes, just from growing up, seeing them. Even when they was new style, I never knew they even changed their name to Naughty by Nature.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? Because we out. They doing the music, but we in the streets moving around.
So to you, they're just
So, when Naughty blew up, they came around. They was like, "Look, we want to rap this and other." So I was like, "Okay, I put the money up for the studio," but I didn't know anything about it. I put the money up for the studio, so I was like, I started thinking. So I said, "Okay, I really don't know nobody in the music industry like that to get them signed." I said, if I start doing parties and letting them open up, I can get
we go.
I can get them out there.
Yes.
And I ain't know nothing about
That's
parties.
That entrepreneurial brain
Yes.
thinking.
I said I could get them out there. So it's a guy named Vader. He was a producer from East Orange too. And when Naughty blew up, he started doing music.
Okay.
This is the same guy that did Rihanna's Upon a Replay years later.
No way.
Yes, and he also was producer of Lauryn Hill's Miseducation of a Woman.
Really?
He's produced majority of that album.
Wow, I had Lauryn Hill's DJ Reborn on the
on the show.
On the show, yeah.
Yeah, so him and Kilo, which it was called OCM at the time.
Wow.
They were signed to Quincy Jones label. I came up under them, so I had the group. He started working with my group. I started going back and forth with them because I had entrepreneurial skills. I started going back and forth with them to the label, to Quincy Jones label, while they was getting signed. They say manager at the time had just discovered Drew Hill. And I remember when they was just before they got the deal and everything.
Right.
They signed them. They used to bring them up to New Jersey to the lawyer's office and everything. And because the same manager managed Vader them. And I'm just thinking about it now as I'm speaking to you. Some of the stuff that I forgot that I was involved in, that indirectly so we started making records. And I started 1995 is when I first started doing. My first party was at Sir Rich's in Orange, 1995. Oh,
wow, I know Sir Rich's.
So I did Duck Down.
Okay.
That's when they had a song. I forgot the name of the song. Yes, yes, y'all. But they had that song. Okay. So I didn't know anything about the music. I had my group open it up. So this back in the day when you used to go to the labels and pay them directly at the label.
Okay.
Right? It wasn't like how now you wire the money.
Right.
You go straight to the record label. You see them, pay them half the deposit. So I had went to Duck Down office, paid Buckshot Shorty.
Okay.
And he must knew from me talking that I ain't know what I was doing. Because he called me. He was like, yo, this your... I'm like, yeah. He was like, come in my office. Called me in the back of his office. Just sat me down. Didn't know me from anywhere. Sat me down and just started giving me the game.
Wow.
Just like, look, man, I see... this your first time doing it? And he started telling me different things about marketing and promotion, how to get sponsors. But I didn't understand that language back then.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was talking to me, but I really didn't understand it.
Okay.
So I ended up doing the show. The day of the show, around 4 o'clock in the afternoon, the show was at night. It started a snowstorm.
No.
I'm talking about not just a regular snow.
Like a beast.
Snowstorm. So I'm looking, I'm stressed out, right? So
Right.
I'm like, so he calling me, you want to cancel? I didn't know the game, so I didn't know if you cancel, you could rebook it and do it, and you don't lose your money. I'm thinking I'm gonna lose my money.
You're out.
Yes, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Right.
So I'm like, nah, we're gonna keep it going.
Right.
And I'm talking about literally snowstorm,
Oh my
like
God.
2 feet of snow. He was like, all right, we gonna come. So he ended up coming. I had maybe like 100 people.
Okay.
Even in the
Still,
snowstorm.
wow.
Yeah. Lost my money. But at that time, Tretch was married to Pepper.
Okay.
And she was there and she was like, well, Soup, she was like, look at it on the bright side. You got 100 people in a snowstorm.
That is pretty bright.
Yeah, but when you lose your money,
I know.
that
I
don't
feel you.
resonate.
I feel you.
Like,
I was shocked you said you had 100.
Yeah, it didn't resonate. So Tretch was like, yo, man, I'm gonna help you. We're gonna do the next one together.
Okay.
We're gonna do Symphony Hall.
Okay.
No, it's not okay. It's
Not okay?
No.
Uh-oh.
Because in hindsight now, what I know now, with anything, just like with the podcast, the stuff that you know now versus when you started,
right.
you gotta grow with it, right?
Yes.
So you don't, as a promoter, you don't go from a venue that's a club that you've never done to Symphony Hall,
Okay.
right? You don't do that. That's like,
Right.
that's like, you don't do that. That's like you first getting your license and then you start driving on the Autobahn. Like you don't do that. So, but now, mind you, it was a monumental lineup we had.
Okay.
We just ain't promoted right.
Oh.
So at the time, Smoother Hustling Trade the Game, that's
Okay.
right. They had just dropped their song.
Okay.
Jay-Z and Foxy Brown had just dropped
Stop.
Ain't No Nigga.
Yeah.
Genius had just dropped his album, Liquid Swords, with Shadowboxing and Faith. So we put the lineup together we had. And I remember how much I paid them and everything. Smoother Hustling Trigger the Game just came out. They had a song and it was jumping $1,500.
Wow.
Jay-Z and Foxy had a song out, Ain't No Nigga. We gave them $2,500.
Yeah.
Faith was $7,500.
Okay.
Genius was $8,500.
Wow.
And we had Wendy Williams hosting it.
Wow.
Right? Now, that was a super lineup. This is 1996.
Wow.
We had I'm talking about super lineup, but we only promoted the event for 30 days, which in hindsight now, you need at least minimum 90 days.
At least.
So, Tretch as a rapper, he never been into marketing. He just wanted to help me. Right? So he went half with me.
People?
Like,
helped you with the
You know what I'm saying? So the day of the show, we only did 70 Hall had held like 2,000 plus. We only did like 200 tickets. Wow. Not knowing again, I could cancel the show.
Yeah, and rebook it another time.
And rebook it. I'm like, nah, come on. So we end up, it wasn't enough people to do the show. So Tretch ended up cutting a check for everybody back in. He paid everybody they back in money, even though nobody performed. They came, he cut a check for everybody back in. Wendy Williams killed me on the radio.
Really?
She got on the radio, said it wasn't enough people there to start an argument. She said it was crickets in there. I'm talking about blasting me. This is Wendy at her height.
At her
when
height.
Wendy was Wendy on BLS.
Yeah, she was gonna go in on you.
Bodying me.
Yes.
I'm talking about, she might have been, I don't know, I can't remember if she was on Hot 97 BLS time, but she was bodying me on the radio. Everybody was like, so Wendy killing you everywhere I pull up. Wendy killing you on the radio.
Oh,
she was like, yeah, wasn't enough people there to start an argument. I was like, yo, we had lost like 50,000 between the rental and everything. Between when we paid them in the rental, we lost like 50,000. That was like a lot of my money at the time, and I was stressed. And but that was the beginning of doing my events and learning.
Okay. What was the event that popped off where you were like, I got this. This is what we're doing.
The event that popped off when I started learning, because I still didn't really know what I was doing. So the event
Did you go back to Buckshot Shorty to learn, or you just went?
No.
Okay.
I just started like
learning
because I was still at the time I was still in the streets.
Okay.
And I was still trying to do the music with them, and I was doing little stuff.
Okay.
And I would say that really, well, I could say that it wasn't until the 2000s,
Okay.
like early 2000s. So now at this time, I wasn't doing the music no more.
Okay.
We had fell out. My group had fell out with the producer, Vader.
Okay.
They had a disagreement, which threw me in the middle of it. We fell out. So I scrapped the music. I'm back moving around,
Okay.
hustling and everything. I'm going back and forth to Baltimore. At this point, I'm going back and forth to Baltimore. I'm doing stuff in Baltimore. And when Naughty popped off crazy, so I'm on 6th Avenue. I'm hustling. And Fam, one of my close friends, I told you that was from Hey Mr. DJ.
Yeah.
He just kept saying to me, like, come on, Suit, man. Like, do the music again with me.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I done spent so much money. I'm not doing this music. He just kept convincing me. Come on, man, do the music. I'm like, bro, I don't wanna do this music thing, man. Like, I'm good. And he convinced me, and I started working with him with the music again. And then said they was going on a tour. And this is how I got connected with working with Naughty again. They was always my childhood friends, my bigger brothers, but this is how I got connected. Vin was like, yo, if y'all gonna do the music, I'm gonna bring y'all on the road with me.
Okay.
Now, mind you, I'm walking away from 10, 15,000 a day hustling.
Right.
And I'm going cold turkey to do music.
Right.
And I'm like, bro,
This better work.
But I did it.
Right.
You know, and to be honest with you, he saved my life. Vin saved my life by doing it because in my neighborhood, they caught a big federal investigation. And I would have been a part of that investigation if I didn't leave when I left and go on a road with them. So, but it opened my mind to how big the world is and what was out there and what I can get legally. So I started off as a roadie, making $150 a day. We go out, and I'm sitting here like I just left $10,000 a day to make $150.
Right.
But the experience, and I'm traveling.
And you're learning.
Yes. So we our first real date was a overseas tour. We went overseas, Africa, Japan, Korea, Australia, New Zealand, and
that must have been an experience.
Oh, it was amazing. It was amazing, and that's when me going over there, they seen like, okay, he can handle the business for us because they seen how on point I was business wise and how focused. So they was like, and I went from a roadie to doing everything for them as a road manager.
Nice.
And that's. So I'm moving and I'm getting connections with a lot of different people. I'm meeting different people. So now I started getting back into the parties again.
Okay.
So we at LA. I'm with one of my friends at LA from Compton, Squeak. He come pick me up in LA. He was like, yo, G Unit, this is when G Unit was banging.
Okay.
He was like, his lady, she does makeup and hair.
Okay.
So they was shooting a double XL magazine. He was like, they doing it over, we gonna go over there. So I'm like, all right. She was like, all right, I gotta go by the jungles first, where they filmed the movie, The Jungles. He was like, I said, okay, I'm gonna sit in the car. I ain't going up in there with you. I said, I'm gonna stay in the car.
Right.
All right. So he go over there, we come back out. We go over there. So I always read every magazine at Double XL Source. Every month they came out, I get every magazine and I read it because I was so in time with music. So when we pull up, I see Shy Money XL. So I'm like, that's Shy Money XL. I walk up to him. So I say, my name's Soup. I said, I'm from Jersey. I be doing parties. How much Young Buck in them? So he break it down to me. They Lloyd Banks 25,000, Young Bucks 25,000 for a show. I'm like, all right, I want to give me a number. I want to book them. So he might get this all the time, right? So I don't know if he thought it was serious or not.
Right.
So we exchange numbers. We leave. We got to fly back to New York because at this time, when I was just telling you off of camera, at this time, NBK, which is Alicia Keys' management, was managing Tretch at the time.
Okay.
And he was going to do a solo album. So Alicia Keys was performing at Summer Jam, and they had him coming out and opening for her.
Okay.
Doing her set. It was her, him, Public Enemy, and somebody else was opening it for Alicia Keys.
Oh, wow.
On her, in middle of her set at Summer Jam. So we had to fly back for rehearsal for Summer Jam. So I had just seen Sha Money XL on Sunday.
Right.
In the parking lot.
Okay.
We fly out Sunday morning to go do the rehearsal for Summer Jam. Right? And the Summer Jam was that day, but we had to do the rehearsal early that morning. We fly out that morning. We pull up at MetLife Stadium, do the rehearsal. As we coming out, the whole G Unit walking down the ramp.
Yeah.
So one of the guys, 6ix9ine, he was on a record with Salt and Pepper them called Shoot.
Yeah. He's
from Queens. He was part of Southside. Him and Tretch is real close.
Okay.
So he see Tretch, he breaks off. Tretch, what up? Da, 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 da. So all of them break off, 50 and all of them, they start saying what's up to Tretch. I see Sha Money XL. I said, yo, bro, what's up? I said, I'm going to get with you. He would look at me. I said, we just talked in L.A. yesterday.
Oh, he was like
that's when he knew it was real.
He took you serious.
He was like, he said, yo, make sure you call me, because now I just seen him in L.A. Saturday. Now Sunday, I'm at Summer Jam the next day, and I'm talking about them.
Wow.
So I end up hooking up with him. We do Young Buck.
Okay.
I book Flex to do the DJ. I do Young Buck. Young Buck come. He kills it in Newark. I had him at Terrence Ballroom. He kills it. And that was like one of my first big ones.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But it was still not real.
Okay.
It was big. And then I started doing a few other things, and I end up getting fired from Naughty. I caught a case in Washington, D.C., assault, fighting in the club, and they end up getting sued for $250,000. And the management was like, Soup gotta go. Soup gotta go. Soup is, and
that's
I was kind of
costing us money.
Yeah, I'm costing the money, and it was like, that lifestyle. You out there. You get caught up sometime with the girls and everything. Yeah. And so I was falling off business-wise. Right. I ain't on point like I normally was. Okay. So I understood it. You know what I'm saying? So when I came back, right, I'm like, what I'm going to do? All I know is music and hustling. Right. So I'm like, man, hey, I'm about to hustle again. Right? So Clarissa, which is Jeff Robinson, who's managing it. Okay. Owned the company MBK. His sister was like, Sue, what you gonna do? I'm like, man, I'm about to start. She was like, don't do that. Let me send you out on a road with this person. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to do this, right? And I end up started hustling again. Okay. And in mixing me hustling, I started doing strip club parties. Okay. I got into, because everybody
you were the promoter?
Yes, as a promoter. Everybody was into starting doing the parties, right? It's like rappers earlier. It wasn't cool to be a rapper. Then when the money started coming, everybody wanted to be a rapper. Right? So when I started doing promotion in 95, nobody wanted to be a promoter because everybody was on the streets. They was like, oh, promoter, we ain't doing that and that. Right. It wasn't cool. You know what I'm saying? So now everybody started getting into it, and I felt like it was saturated. So I said, what can I do that's different? And
that's that entrepreneur mindset again.
Yeah, what can I do that's different? And I said, I used to always go to strip clubs, but then I went to one strip club. I was with a friend, and that's when the idea came to me, right? So I said, hey, hold on.
That you would promote a party there.
Strip club. Okay. But I started thinking, right? Streetwise, at this point, I've never done a bid or a prison stunt. I had been in different jails around Rikers Island, like little skid bids, 2 months, 3 months, but I never did a prison term. Okay. But I know in prison, some of the porn stars that everybody catered to was Pinky, Sky Black, Beauty Dior, Cherokee. Okay. I knew they was big inside the streets and the prisons. So I said, hold on. Yes. I said, so I'm in the strip club and I don't know the owner, but I was with one of my friends. He was a pretty boy. So all the strippers used to cling to him. He ain't never spend no money. Right. But they used to just cling. As soon as he come in, they cling to him. So the manager said, man, every time you come in, my girls keep clinging to you, man. You're like, yo, bro, you stopping money. Right. And you ain't spending nothing. Right. So it clicked. I was like, yo, tell him like, yo, we want to do a party here with bring porn stars. So he was like, he was like, man, bro, like, who are you? Right? So it kind of got me mad. So I said to him, I said, bro, I said, this spot only hold, 200 people?
Right. I
said, I got over 400 people on my phone. I said, first of all, I'm looking at your spot. I said, you got everybody in here that's spending $5, $10 on beer.
Right.
I said, I'm going to bring the drug dealers in
right.
here. They going to spend $1,000 a person.
Right.
They endless money. This what you missing.
Right.
He like, yeah.
I didn't believe it.
Right? So I'm going every week trying to convince him to give me the spot. He finally say, so I said to him, this is how I got him. I said, what's your best night here? How much money you make on your best night, your bar mate? He said, oh, my best night is Friday, $8,500.
Okay.
I said, all right, I'm going to triple it. Give me your worst night, and I'm going to make it your best night. I'm going to triple your money. If I don't, I'm going to pay you the balance of what your bar don't make. He was like, yeah, right. I said, give me a shot.
Right.
He was like, all right, I'm going to give you a shot.
To lose, right.
Yeah. So he gave me the shot, but now we leave out. I said, yo, I don't know no porn stars. I'm like, I don't know no porn stars. So he said, yo, I know the son of
your boy that was
yes,
okay.
He knew Marcus Blacksingame, the editor of the Sun from Black Men Magazine. He knew him. He called him. He was like, yo, do you know any? Because you know they into models and everything. He was like, you know any porn stars? He was like, yeah, I know Cherokee. He was like, why would you doing? Tell him. He was like, oh, I'll give you the number. Y'all. So he gave us the number. We book her. She was in L.A. We book her for $1,500.
Wow.
Flew out here. It cost $1,500 all together with the flight, and when she wanted $1,000, right? And whatever she make on stage, we fly out here. So when we fly out here, we fly out. So now I knew. I usually when I did parties, I go to different clubs with flyers. Yeah. But I knew I couldn't go to clubs with that.
Okay.
I said, okay, I got to go straight to the money.
Right.
So I was pulling up on people's blocks. I find out who had the banging block that was making the most money, and I pull right on the block, jump out with flyers. So now that's kind of dangerous because you jumping out on people, they don't know who you is. But and I used to jump out and I read the people's lips. They be like, you know him? So I hold the flyers up quick before they start. I be like, ho, I got Cherokee at Jersey Girls. They like, you got who? Everybody. So they yell down the block. Yo, he got Cherokee coming to Jersey Girls. Wow. Everybody, what? You got Cherokee? Yeah. That's crazy. I was going to block, right?
Wow.
So just say, for example, the party went until June, right? We in May. The party was June 18th. No.
Okay.
I know the spot only hold 200.
Okay.
So I only needed 30 days.
Got it.
Right? So just say the party was in June 18th. Right? I'm promoting 2 days, block to block. The guy for the club called me and said, yo, Soup, who is this person, Cherokee? I'm like, why, what's up? That's who I got coming. Why? He said, man, my phone won't stop ringing. They keep asking me, is she really going to be there?
Oh, my God.
He was like, who is this lady? Do you got her?
He didn't know?
He didn't know.
Wow.
He was like, who is this lady? Do you have her? I'm like, yeah, I got her. She's paid the flight. You sure? Now, we went from him not rocking with me to him asking me. Right? He said, you sure? I said, bro, I'm sure.
Right.
He said, yo, my phone is going crazy at the club. So we booked her that night. Man, we blew the roof off. Wow. Sold it out. We made maybe like 10. We was charging $65 to get in. We made like 10,000 at the door. She made like 8,500.
Nice.
Right? So she must have known that we didn't know nobody in the game. She was like, who do y'all book us through? We was like, oh, Marcus gave us the number. She was like, I'm going to give you my manager number. She got everybody in the game.
There you go.
I'm like, yo, do you know?
That's all you needed.
Yep. I said, you know Pinky? She said, that's my best friend. I'm like, that's who we want. She was like, oh, she going to be more than me. But we booked Pinky. When I'm...
Did you have to get a bigger spot?
No, we used the same spot. When we booked Pinky.
Oh, so your boy was in with you now, right?
Yeah. He was. Me and him was half, 50-50 partners. When we booked Pinky, we literally sold the venue out. It was 250 people inside, 400 outside that couldn't get in.
Oh my God. The 400 outside didn't pay.
No, they couldn't get in. They was just outside trying to get in. They couldn't get in because it only hold 200 and something. We packed 250 in there, and it was 400 people outside that couldn't get in. Yo, I pick up from the hotel. Airport. We go to the hotel. She wanted something to eat. So then she wanted some weed, and she from Oakland. They got bomb out
Right.
there. So I was like, oh, I know where you get some sour diesel from. So I go get her the weed, come back. She was like, she hit it. She was like, oh, Jersey got that. So she opened.
Right.
I take it to get something to eat. They calling me. It's like the club open at 9.
Mm-hmm.
They calling me like 9:15. Soup, where you at? Where you at with her? I'm like, we eating. We'll be there about 11.
Right.
Nah, you got to get here now, man. This place is crazy. I'm like, what do you mean? He said, yo, we sold out inside. Nobody else can get in.
Wow.
It's like 400 people outside. You got to get her here. They keep asking where she at. So I said, oh, when I pull up, it's pandemonium outside. Wow. We get her in. I can remember this day. This is the first time I already always heard about females leaving a strip club with garbage bags of money.
Mm-hmm.
I never seen it. Yo, she made $13,000 on stage in singles. $13,000 she made on stage singles. $13,000. She leaved out 2 garbage bags.
That's insane.
$13,000. She put everything in my car. So we going down 1 and 9. So I was taking a shortcut because I had it at the hotel by Jersey Gardens. So, she don't know me personally. Right. So I took a shortcut. She was like, oh, why you taking off this? Right. I don't know. She thought we was going to rob her or whatever. I'm telling her, like, no, baby, you safe with me.
Right.
One thing you're going to learn about me is you're going to get here safe and you're going to get home safe. That's all you want to worry about. Right. You ain't never got to worry about your money, none of that. So she puts me on other females, Sky Black, Beauty Door. I bring them. So when she used to come to New York, she had hit me. Soup, what you doing? I'm like, yo, come get me. I come get her. We smoke. So I started asking her. I started Googling.
Okay.
Right? Wow, the porn business. So I seen it was $1 billion business. So I was like, now my brain is going because it was never about the strip club.
Right.
It was always about me breaking into the porn business as a producer, not as a entertainer, as a producer. Right. Because it was $1 billion industry.
Right. So
I said, if I could get 1% of that, that's $1 million a year. If I get 1% of this porn business. So I looked at the porn business and I said, to me, black porn is whack.
Yeah.
To me.
Because it's what they make it whack. Yeah.
It's cheap. It's like the camera works be cheap.
Porn. Yeah.
It's like it's no excitement to it. It's low quality.
Right.
So I said, yo.
And they always got somebody in some Timbs.
Yep. So I said I'm gonna bring a different element to the game. So I started thinking. So I said, I'm gonna bring the street culture to the Timbs, the drug dealer culture, the cars, the Rolexes, everything that we was wearing and we was doing, I'm going to bring to the porn business.
Wow.
They always got cheap cars, cheap scene. I'm going to get the great camera work.
Right.
My man who got the 500 Benz, yo, I need your Benz for this shoot. Right? My man that got the Rolex, yo, I need the Rolex. I'm going to put it on the porn dude. Right? I'm going to give him the chains. I'm going to give him the diamond chain. I'm going to have this looking like this real joint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Dress up the girls. I'm gonna have it looking ghetto fabulous, right? I'm going to change the game. That was going to be my niche.
Yeah.
So I'm talking to Pinky. I'm learning the game from him. Yo, how much do a girl-on-girl scene cost? How much do a gangbang scene cost? How much do this scene? So she giving me the game. Telling me, yo, Soup, this costs this. She telling me, look, it may take you $40,000 to do a movie, but you might make $500,000 off of it, right? So she giving it up to me. Now I'm going to porn conventions, and when porn conventions going, I'm going there.
You're learning.
I'm learning because when I seen how much billions, that's on my mind. I said, if I could tap in and get 1%, and make $1 million a year off of it, I'm up.
Right.
So now I'm learning the business. So now she tell me, look, I'm plug you to the 900 numbers, right? So she was like, it's $3 a minute. You take $1, the girl gonna get $1, and the production company get $1. Okay. So she's telling me, listen, get all the females that's home, that's on, excuse me, but it's real, on welfare, that ain't working, put the phone in their hand. Yeah. You home all day, you gonna work this phone for 8 hours. Yep. You get them $1, you take $1. So she giving me the game. She giving me the game. She giving me the game. So now I'm going to porn conventions, I'm meeting producers, I'm meeting other guys that's from New York, Texas, who doing what I'm doing, strip club parties. Now we talk about getting together.
Wow.
Like, and doing something big with each other. Yeah. So now when I had that Pinky, they bar made $30,000. I always thought the manager was the owner, but he wasn't.
Oh, he wasn't?
He called me one day and said, after that, the owner want to meet you. I said, I thought you was the owner. He said, nah, Soup, I'm just the manager.
Oh my
So I said,
God.
all right. I said, look, bro, I ain't giving up none of my door.
Right.
Like, she can have a bar. I ain't giving that door money up.
Right.
What I make is what I make. What y'all make, what y'all make. Don't count my
Exactly.
money. He said, no. So I meet her, and it was an older Italian lady. She had owned 3 strip clubs.
Wow.
1 in Staten Island, 2 in Elizabeth.
Okay.
So she was like, I just wanted to meet the person that was bringing this much money in my club. She said, you have any ideas, anything you want to do? I was like, yeah. She was like, what? I said, I want to do a strip club party on a yacht. I said, 25 girls from New York, 25 from New York, 5 porn stars. She was like, you could get the yacht? I said, I can't get the property yacht. But you
asked me about the idea.
They'll
right?
get you the yacht. They'll get the yacht to you.
Right.
I said, don't worry about the people. I get the people.
Right.
All I need you to bring is the singles and get the yacht.
Right.
So she was like, okay, but how about if we can't get a yacht? We're going to rent a mansion.
Wow.
So she said, okay. She said, I got 2 other clubs if you want to do. She said, matter of fact, do you want Friday or Saturday? I said, no. I said, because people that got money in my field where we at, they go to regular clubs on Friday and Saturday. They don't go to strip clubs on Friday and Saturday. This is a weekend, Wednesday, Thursday type of thing. Yeah. So she was like, okay. So as I'm going to Pinky, I started getting an idea. I wanted to make my own dildo line.
Okay.
So she was like, oh, that's the hot soup. She was like, you'll make mad money. She was like, so how you want to do it? I said, I want to do actual people from the hood and get them a percentage off of whatever they mold is. Because I said, my logic was this, right? No disrespect to anybody that's, look, I said, a lot of females in the world, because I'm been at this point with Naughty, I'm world travel.
Right.
So I know how females interact with us outside the United States. That's in other countries.
Yeah.
If you don't travel, you wouldn't know.
Right.
Here, you be like, oh, she's Spanish, she ain't really rocking with no black dude. Or she Filipino, she ain't really rocking with no black dude.
Right.
Until you get in these
outside,
countries and you be like, oh, they love us.
Yeah.
Like, love us.
Yeah.
So I was like, hold on. I'm like, the average female, they love guys from the urban community. They might not necessarily, outside of our community, necessarily want to come to our community to get one.
Hang,
right? Yeah. But what's the next best thing?
Right.
So I came up with the name of the line of my dildo line was called Hood Thing. Like, I can't say we on what's called Hood Thing. That was the name. So Piggy was like, oh, that's a dope name. So she was like, yeah. So at the time, I was still outside doing what I was doing while I was doing this. So I was on the cusp of putting everything together. It was coming together for me in that field. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to leave these streets alone. Because I could see, I got the relationship with her. She give me the game. I can blow in this porn business and make a lot of money doing this. And then the feds came and got me. Yeah, I woke up one morning and it kicked my door. It was over. It was over. It was over. It was over. I woke up and it was over. That was 2008.
Oh my goodness. That was a wild ride.
Yeah. It was over. It was 2008. And they came and got me. I had just had a newborn. He was like 6 months old. And I was part of a conspiracy. And I end up getting sentenced. I end up doing, it was over 3 phone conversations. I never got caught with a drug. It was 3 phone conversations I had, and I ended up doing 5 years. So in the mix of me doing the 5 years, I took drug programs while I was in there. I programmed the whole time I was in there. Because I said, yo, I took so many classes. I got so many certificates. I just stayed busy because I'd never been arrested like that before where I had to do time. So that wasn't my normal. So I had to keep my mind busy. So I stayed doing programs. So when I got released, I was a part of this drug program in there. So I had to do outside. So I joined this program called Renew North. It was the first federal drug program that was sponsored by the Attorney General Edward Holder. It was the first time the Democrats and Republicans ever been on one page about reentry, guys coming back into society, trying to reintegrate back into society and do the right thing.
Wow.
In which it helped. It needs to be like that because,
of course,
for the community's sake.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you have help coming home, you're not gonna resort back to what you're doing.
Right.
Then also at the same token, it's a community issue because if I get my life together and the kids that always, like the same way I emulated the drug dealers before me, they looked up to me too.
Right.
So now they see me turning my life around, doing the right thing, doing something positive.
They want to do that too.
They like, oh, you really could. Because one thing about when we out here, a lot of people don't know, you really don't want to, after a while, you don't want to do it. You just so caught up.
Yeah.
You don't know nothing else,
Right.
and you don't even know if you could really survive in the real world,
right. Doing anything else,
like real life.
Yeah.
Because the life we was living ain't real life.
Right.
So in the real world, what everybody going on doing in the real world is scary to us because we don't know if we could do it that way. Especially without resources, without education, not being educated. You know, you don't think about those things when you're in the streets.
Right.
You think about it after the fact, like, dang. I ain't got no pension. I ain't got no degree. I ain't got no trade skill.
Right.
All the things that help you survive in this real world, you lack that. I got a criminal record, so it's scary to you because you like, how I'm really feed. I don't want to do nothing wrong, but how do I really feed myself to move forward without when I'm lacking all these things that the real world has, and they took the time to do it the right way and get it.
Yeah.
And I try to take the shortcut.
Yes.
So it's scary. So in the mix of me joining this program, I looked at the judge and I was like, I know her from somewhere. I kept looking at her who was running the program. I'm like, where do I know this lady from?
The strip club? Just kidding.
No, it wasn't.
Just kidding.
That'd be crazy, right? So I said, where I know her from? It was the judge. She was my magistrate judge when I first got arrested. And she remanded me, didn't give me bail, remanded me back into the jail without giving me a bail. And I'm looking like, that's the man. She was like, yeah, Mari, when you was going to catch on. Wow. So I started doing a program with them. And then they asked me, what did I wanted to do? I said, man, I want to get back to my community that I helped destroy.
Yes.
Well, how do you want to do that? I want to go back into the prisons and speak. I want to go into schools and speak. I have a story. Kids need to hear this from me who lived this. I said, y'all can get this to them in textbook all day long. Yep. I said, but do you really know why a female promiscuous? Because she seen her mother sell her body. Do you really know why little kids still out of store? Is because they mother and father on crack, and that's the only way they can feed themselves and their kids. Yep. A textbook ain't gonna give you that. No. They need to know it from me and see it from me and know I lived this so they can know it's real.
Yeah. So
they was like, okay. My same judge who remanded me is the same judge who married me and my wife in the same federal courtroom I got sentenced in.
Wow. When did you get married?
A year after I came home.
A year after you came home.
In the same courtroom I got sentenced in, they married me. My magistrate judge married me, and they paid for everything.
Wow.
In the same courtroom I got sentenced in from federal jail.
That tells you everything you need to know. That's a great story.
And I get to, you know, and I kept saying to myself, like, wow, how did this come full circle like this? Right? So
That's
I end
life.
up going back into to prison with Attorney General Paul Fishman, who Mikey Sherrill, who's the congresswoman in New Jersey now that's running for she was the head prosecutor of my program. She helped me get my credit together.
Wow.
She called all my creditors. Wow. People was putting stuff in my name when I was locked up.
Shout out to Mikey.
I love Mikey. She helped me get my life back in order. And when I graduated, I did a year in the program, and I graduated. I'm the first graduate of the program, one of the first graduates of the program that Attorney General Eric Holder, the program he put together. I was one of the first graduates. And one day I was leaving the program, and I was walking down the street to my car. So she pulled up on the side of me, and she was like, "Amari, you need a ride to your car, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, Mikey." So she put me in the car. She drove me in the car, dropped me off. So, but she didn't know she don't know that's the small gesture at that time. She didn't know what that did for me.
For yeah.
Right? And when we graduated, in my speech, I told her, like, you don't know the confidence you gave in me to let me know, because, you know, us coming from where we come from, she see our background, she see my criminal record. right? She's a federal prosecutor, and she's a white lady, right? I'm black from the urban community. At this point, I'm a reformed criminal.
Right.
To put me in her car, to drop me off, it was so big for me because it made me feel she trusted me.
Yeah.
It made me feel she had belief in me that I can, you know what I'm saying?
She knew there was a good person in there.
And that meant the world to me.
Yeah.
In my speech, I talked about it. In the program, I still was going at years after, and everybody that came on the program, it was like, they know me because we all from the street, so we all know each other. So they was like, so why you still be coming down here? And I explained to them, I said, man, let me explain something to y'all. I said, where we come from, when you meet people like this on this level of government, you nurture these relationships.
Yeah.
You don't end them. You nurture. These are things you nurture.
Absolutely.
You water these plants because you never know how far these relationships could take you.
Yeah.
You know? And my sister, she's a correction officer. She used to come down to the program and the judge would be like, when you want to be a U.S. Marshal? You want to come? She was like, no. She was like, you could do it part-time. Come. These are things.
Yeah.
So I go back into prison. I did time in Fort Dix. I went back into Fort Dix, spoke in Fort Dix to guys that was coming home from prison, back into the same facility I came home from. I'm back in with reentry, telling 250 guys is about to hit the streets how real it's going to be out here, how it ain't easy. Every day, it's like you're a recovering addict. Every day. And you learn so many important things about consequences and decision making. You know, for every decision, there's a desirable consequence and there's an undesirable consequence.
Yeah.
Which one you want to fall up under? And from the relationship I built with them, I was invited to meet Barack when he came to Newark. When he did the speech in Newark at Rutgers, we was right there front row with them and with senators and Congress people. And they asking me, you know, I'm suited up, and they asked me, oh, who are you? What do you do? I'm like, oh, I just graduated from the Federal Renew program. I just came home from prison. And they like, really? I'm like, yeah. They was like, oh, that's awesome. How can I do? They extending themselves. What can I do to help you? They introduced me to civil rights lawyers, and what I have gained from that in abundance, what I'm able to give now. And sometimes, you know, our story and the roads that we travel to get here be so rocky sometimes that on the other end of it, when the pavement starts smoothing out, and you know, you look back and you smile and be like, how far you come in the things that you do. So mind you, one of my friends is a councilman now in East Orange. We grew up together. Class of 1990. Even though I didn't graduate, I'm still class of 1990, right? So, he asked me to help him with on his finance committee when he was running for councilman. Because what I do, I promote. I'm one of the best promoters in the state. So he was like, Soup, I need your help for his finance and marketing and all. And I'm like, it was an honor for me. And I'm like, that he even looked at me that type of light. And he started telling me, like, look, man, everything we do on this level is really the same. What you do is just on that level of partying. It's on the same level. So he started telling me how
just a different kind of promotion.
It's different kind of promotion, right? So in the mix, now mind you, I didn't even know Mikey was congresswoman at the time, because when she left the program, they just said Mikey had left, and I didn't ever know she ran for congresswoman. So in the mix of me running his, helping him with his finance, we had a meeting at the Mayfair Farms for the Essex County Democrats, and we sitting in the meeting. So I'm thinking we was just East Orange, us sitting, you know, strategizing. They opened the door. I'm like, what is this? He was like, oh no, today is the whole Essex County Democratic meeting. All the cities in Essex County. So I'm like, I look at his tables filled with people in all the counties. So I'm like, so I'm walking through with him. I'm thinking we was just, so I see this lady come running. I see her running from deep out the corner of my eye, but you know, I don't know nobody here. It's all political. So I'm walking. I see her running her heels. So I'm still walking. She walks, Amari. I turn around. I'm like, Mikey, what you doing? She's like, oh my God, give me a hug. What are you doing here? I'm like, oh, this is one of my childhood friends. He running for councilman. I'm on his finance. So he say the hug, Congresswoman. I said, Congresswoman. She said, yeah, Mari, when I left the federal prosecutor's office, I ran for God. Yep. I said, get out of here, Mikey. She was like, oh my God, I miss you. Give me a hug, take a picture. Right? So at this point, I ain't seen her in like 2 years. So when she walked away, she was like, take my secretary number. If you ever need me, call the secretary. She'll get in touch with me. So as I sit down, the mayor said to me, Ted Green said, Soup, where you know her from? Because sometimes I don't like when they call me Soup.
Right. You're like, hold on.
Yeah. So he was like, Soup, where you know Maggie from? I'm like, she used to be the federal prosecutor in my reentry program. He like, really? I'm like, yeah, she was the federal prosecutor. Because we used to have all like federal lawyers, prosecutor, judges. They used to all be part of our program to help us get back on track with different things. He was like, yo, we helped our campaign. I'm like, yeah. He was like, so Vern, the councilman Pullum was like, Soup, man, that's major right there.
Yeah.
He's like, I ain't even know you knew her. I'm like, yeah. So she had came to, where was it? I missed her because I do R&B in the city in the park. She came the first year, but I missed her because I was like, I need to go see Mike. They was like, Soup, she just left. So I've been trying to catch up to her lately.
You will.
Because I know she's running for governor and everything. So I've been, just wanted to talk to her and catch up to her and talk to her. So I was like, they had asked me to do something. Somebody else that's political was like, and I was trying to explain to them that I couldn't do it because she's running for governor.
Right.
And I know what they did for me, and I can't go against her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not political. I'm not going for nobody.
But you're a good person and you're a friend.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
Exactly.
You know, I think that's beautiful.
Exactly. So it was like I can't. But
so let's close out with what you're doing now. Your parties that you do now.
So now, to date, you had asked about. So I'm gonna tell you, my biggest one to date was my Mary J. Blige that I did 2 years ago.
Okay.
Right, and it was. I was trying to do something for my birthday, and I couldn't. I was trying to figure out artists. So my friend called me and said, do Mary. I said, bro, I can't do no Mary. He was like, why? I said, man, Mary costs too much. And I don't know how to get in touch with Mary. And he was like, man, you get in touch with everybody else. I was like, man, Mary, that's past my pockets, right? He was like, man, the following week, somebody DM'd me that was close to Mary and was like, yo, I've been watching you. He was like, I like what you're doing.
See?
And I thought it was a prank. He was like, I like what you're doing. I want to build a relationship with you. He was like, I can get married for you at a right price. She want to do something intimate, nothing big. She want to do something intimate. The stuff you doing at Lit 21, she like it when you did the Mary tribute and you had SNS. That's her DJ.
Okay.
And you had him DJ and she was on his live watching the tribute. He was like, she liked the little intimate spot. He was like, I could get her for if you want it. So I hit him back. I was like, man, this ain't real.
Right.
So I went on his page. I seen he was everywhere she was at. He was there. I was like, oh, this real. I called somebody like, yo, you know him? He was like, yeah, Soup. She don't go nowhere without him. That's her head security.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, it's real. I hit him back like, what's the number?
Right.
He gave me the number. I said, I could do that. He was like, and I had her, and it was like,
nice.
To be honest with you, Mary and Nas is two of the people that was always on my bucket list as a promoter to say, yeah, I made it.
Yeah.
Like, I had Mary, I had Nas.
Right.
So I had Mary, she came through, showing out for me. I've been working on Nas for like 4 years.
It'll happen.
Like, I always like to speak stuff into existence.
Absolutely.
And put it in the air.
It'll happen.
You know, and so Nas is next on my bucket list.
Right.
I had Lorenz Tate this past summer for my White Affair.
Okay.
And so my mission and my goal is to start doing concerts in venues like the NJ Pack and stuff like that. That's the transition out of the clubs and then transition to theaters. So, God willing.
Do you have a connect for NJ Pack?
No.
I can help you with that.
Okay. So that's my transition. That's where I see myself going. it's transitioning from the clubs and glowing up into theaters and stuff like that, because this is what I love to do. I love having an idea, writing it on paper, and then seeing it come to fruition. There's nothing in the world that I love to do better than seeing people come together having a good time off something that started here that I created, and then you seeing it develop.
You realize you've done this your whole life.
Yes, yes. My wife said to me all the time, she was like, "Oh, when you gonna start?" I was like, I love it. This is what I love to do. This is my passion. I'm like, you sell houses. This is what you do. Yeah. I do events. This is what I love to do. Yeah. I love it. I love it.
Like, it shows.
And like you just said, it's something I've done my whole life.
Your whole life.
I don't know how to. When I started working, I've been at Arizona Iced Tea now. I work at Arizona Iced Tea. I've been there since 2012, straight out the halfway house. So I've been there since 2012. I didn't learn how to work a drill until I started working there. Wow. I never did anything with my hands as far as that. Right. It was always in my mind. I always used my mind. Yeah. So this is what I love to do.
Well, you're doing a good damn job of it.
Thank you. Thank
you. As I said before, #1 in New Jersey.
Thank you.
As far as I know. I hear actors say it, artists say it, so clearly
when you told me that, I was like, I didn't even know it was, like, when you told me certain people, I was like, wow.
Yeah, like that's when I was like, wait a minute, why isn't he on my podcast? So I'm so happy that you made this happen for me.
Thank you.
And whatever I can do for you, please let me know.
Thank you.
Again, I appreciate you coming out this way. I know this is not your hood.
No, it's good. I travel all the time, and like you said, I'm always on time. One thing about me,
that's my thing. So when you said I pulled up, I'm like, like I had such a good day today with people being on time. So and early. So
I'm big on time.
You're my new guy.
I'm big on time. I'm big on time.
Thank you so much again.
I appreciate you for inviting me. I love it. Thank you.
Absolutely. And I want to let you guys know I'm still on Spotify, on Apple, and on YouTube. And if this is something that resonates with you, watch, because the best is yet to come.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
That was awesome.